Are there any motions to take note of answers? Senator Cash.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President, and I rise to take note of answers provided today by Senator Carr to questions asked by myself in question time. And I have to say, Mr Deputy President, Senator Carr has confirmed in question time today everything that is going wrong with the Labor Party's border protection policy. When you actually look at where the Labor government has taken this country in relation to border protection, this is the situation that is currently facing the Australian people. We have, on the minister's own admission in question time today, Christmas Island is overflowing beyond capacity, and I have just recently been informed that the AFP have actually stopped boats actually stopping at Christmas Island, and they have to be taken to the mainland because of the overcrowding on the island. If that report is true, that is an absolute indictment on this government, because it is not their decision to stop the boats, it is the AFP's decision. An absolute indictment on this government. Labor are now opening detention centre after detention centre, and in relation to Northam in Western Australia, with almost no consultation at all with the local community. We all know that universal offshore processing is now completely, totally and utterly finished, with the Labor Party actually announcing that they will not be taking boats to Christmas Island. They will be brought straight down to the mainland. Minister Carr confirmed today. He confirmed today in question time.
Cash, there's far too much audible conversation on my right. Senator Cash.
Minister Carr confirmed today in question time that there is an absolute debacle on Christmas Island. In fact, he almost accused me of downplaying the situation. And then we have the Immigration Minister himself. We have the Immigration Minister, whom I have to say must be really questioning the poison chalice that he has actually been handed by the Prime Minister. We have all of these abysmal failures in relation to what is going on with border protection, and the government. What is the government's response? They try to downplay it with a wall of spin to the Australian people. Minister Bowen, on Thursday the 17th of March, following a night of rioting by some of the asylum seekers on Christmas Island, says this: the situation on Christmas Island is calm. And then the following day, when he realised that he really did have a problem on his hands, he comes out with this statement: at no stage during the week have I underplayed the seriousness of the situation. And if that wasn't bad enough, if the minister himself was not misleading the Australian people in relation to what was going on Christmas Island, let's now have a look at what Prime Minister Gillard said. Last Sunday, after the week of riots at Christmas Island, Prime Minister Gillard told Australians the situation at Christmas Island was under control. Well, I have to say, I stood in this place 3 weeks ago and I actually said that one of the greatest betrayals to the Australian people was when the Prime Minister, just before the election, said she would never implement a carbon tax under her government. And then we have, post the election, the reality that she did. That wasn't the greatest betrayal at all. One of the greatest betrayals that this parliament has ever seen is in relation to the failure of those on the other side on their border protection policy. Christmas Island has descended into absolute chaos. We have this. We have the AFP now having to use tear gas. We have them having to use beanbag rounds. We have mass breakouts. We have fires. We have rock throwing. We have protests. We have asylum seekers who are on the loose. And the government says that the situation is under control. The situation is far from under control, Mr Deputy President. The situation in relation to the Labor Party's border protection policy is that it is in complete, total and utter disarray. If those on the other side actually think that this is the way to run Australia's border protection regime, then quite frankly they deserve to be thrown out at the next election. This government has shown that in the few short months that it has been in office, that just like the former Rudd government, when it comes to protecting Australia's borders, it has absolutely no idea whatsoever. This is a government that, just like the former Rudd government, when it comes to protecting Australia's borders, it lurches from one problem to the next. This is a government that is now reaping what it has sown, but it is a poor Australian taxpayer that will pay for their border protection failures.
Your time has expired.